Hello readers! Today we're going to do our first deep dive. The first deep dive we're doing is an experiment with interrogative verb moods. Our goal today is to be able to answer the question, how does the interrogative verb mood work? As we work through today's lesson, you'll notice you have some questions in front of you. Feel free to pause the video in order to have enough time to answer the questions, and then restart it once you have successfully answered them. The first thing I want you to think about today is, why do we ask questions? You can think about this specifically as, why do we ask questions while we read? Or you can just think in general, why do people ask questions? Pause this video and take a moment to come up with at least 2 reasons why people ask questions. Okay, so at this point you should have your 2 reasons why people ask questions. Some examples in case you got stuck. Well, there's a lot. We might ask questions to help us find information. Like if we want to learn how to play a sport, we might ask questions like, how do I score a point? We can ask questions as a request for something. Like instead of saying, I need a pencil, you could ask for one by saying, may I borrow a pencil? We can ask questions to emphasize a point, especially when we're really uncertain or feeling frustrated. That's normally when you don't actually mean for someone to answer your question. Like when you say, why don't you ever listen to me? Or why would you say that? Asking questions can also help us to better understand what a person is saying. That could look like, do you mean that you don't like the novel or that you don't like the character? We're going to take a really close look right now at one example of a question in the crossover. Can you open up to page 55, and we're going to take a look at that last stanza together. Our poem on this page is called Pulchritudinous. The last stanza reads, as in, wait a minute, why is the pulchritudinous new girl now talking to my brother? Let's take a moment to make some observations about the structure of that sentence. Remember, the structure is really, how is the sentence being written? Take a moment to make a few observations on your own by pausing this video. Okay, some things you might have noticed about the structure of our very last stanza here. One thing is, this stanza starts with the word why. You'll see that a lot with questions. Most question sentences will start with things like who, what, when, where, why, and how. You'll also notice here that the subject isn't the first word in the sentence. We don't get to the subject until later. Words like who, what, where, when, why, and how are called interrogatives. You'll see these a lot in interrogative sentences. To help show our understanding of the interrogative verb mood, you're going to start by rewriting the following sentence. As in, I think my grandfather died of hypertension. You'll notice that this sentence does end in a question mark. However, it's not actually an interrogative verb mood sentence. The reason it's not interrogative is because even though there's a question mark at the end, Josh is stating a fact. He is saying that he believes his grandfather died of hypertension. Sometimes poets especially will bend the rules of grammar to imitate the way we speak, just like Kwame Alexander does in this example. Take a moment right now, and I want you to rewrite this sentence as an interrogative sentence. So how could you write this so it was really a question? I look forward to seeing what you wrote. I have one more goal for you today to show your understanding of the interrogative verb mood. We're going to go back to pages 48 and 49. This is the poem Patella Tendinitis. We're going to reread this poem, and your goal with a partner sitting at your table is to come up with at least 3 questions you could add to the end of this poem. Remember, we're trying to use interrogative verb moods, so these should have question marks, and you might use something like who, what, where, when, why, or how to start out your sentence. Patella tendinitis. Noun. The condition that arises when the muscle that connects the kneecap to the shin bone becomes irritated due to overuse, especially from jumping activities. As in, on the top shelf of Mom and Dad's closet, in a silver safety box, JB and I discovered that my dad has jumper's knee, aka patella tendinitis. As in, as a rookie, my dad led his team to the EuroLeague championship, but thanks to patella tendinitis, he went from a superstar with $1 million fadeaway jumper to a star whose career had faded away. As in, I wonder why my dad never had surgery on his patella tendinitis. Alright, readers, so remember, your goal right now is to pause the video and to come up with 3 questions that you could add to the end of this poem. Come back when you're done for the last step. Readers, with any time you have left, you're welcome to get started on part 1 of your homework for tonight. Part 1 of your homework is to complete day 2 of your fluency handout. To be complete, that would mean you've read the poem at noon in the gym with Dad on page 194 out loud 3 to 5 times to another person. Ideally, in this case, it's someone sitting next to you. You should score yourself on reading accurately and with appropriate pausing and phrasing. Make sure your listener scores you as well. Next period, make sure you come back for the next deep dive.